Hello, I'm Nikki Sandino with the Yakima Police Department, and I'm here to discuss frauds and scams that are affecting our local community members. There are three main topics that I'll cover: phone scams, email scams, and dating, contractor, and sales scams. I'd like to take a moment to go over some of the ways to prevent falling victim to the scammers. Scammers get very creative and hope to catch you off guard. They may try to put you in a state of panic so that you don't think clearly. They may offer you something that you want for a very low price. They may offer you the hope of companionship or wealth, or they may take advantage of your trust in others. Preventing frauds and scams, here's some of the tips. Stop and think. Could this even be real? Do not give any of your personal information over the phone or in an email. If the business has contacted you, they would already have your information. Most organizations, such as the Social Security Office, the IRS, will contact you through the Postal Service. Do not buy gift cards to pay for any debts or services. Do not mail or ship money orders or cash to anyone that you've never met in person. Never cash or deposit checks from someone you've never met in person, and especially if they're asking for you to give them that money in return. If you think this could be a real situation, hang up. Call back using a number from a reliable source. Look for an old bill or a statement and call that number. Look the number up online or call 411. Or have a family member or a friend assist you. And remember to reach out to a licensed contractor. All right, now let's get into the common frauds and scams that we see right here in Yakima. So like I said, phone scams. The first phone scam that I would like to cover here is where the scammer calls and tells you that you owe them money. It might be an agency such as the IRS. Then they will say that there is a warrant that will be issued for your arrest if you don't pay it immediately. And the scammer may threaten benefits such as Social Security or Medicare. They may even ask you to give them your personal information to confirm your identity. So stop and think. Never give your personal information over the phone. Most legitimate callers will only ask for you to confirm a small portion of your identity. So like maybe a legitimate caller would ask you for the last four of your Social Security number or just the year of your birth. The next scam is where the scammer calls and states that they're a police officer and they tell you that your loved one's in jail. They'll tell you that they need to be bailed out, that your family member asked for the officer to call you. In this scam, they often ask you to buy gift cards and you cannot use gift cards to bail somebody out of jail. So an officer also will not call on an inmate's behalf for bail. Your loved one would be the one that would call you. So a similar scam to that last one is one where the scammer claims to be your loved one themselves and that they're needing financial assistance. So maybe they call you grandma or grandpa or mom and dad. And if this happens, just stop and think. Then ask a question that only that family member would be able to answer. Next, let's talk about foreign lotteries and Publishers Clearinghouse. With these scams, they ask you to send money in order to collect your winnings. This is not customary. Also, if you didn't play the lottery or pay to enter a drawing, you can't win. So that covers our phone scams, and next we want to talk about our email scams. Email scams can be tricky, and it's as easy as getting you to click a link. So, never open an email from an unknown source. Look for misspellings. That's often a sign that it's what's called a phishing scam. Do not click on a link within a questionable email. Look the company up yourself. So I just talked about foreign lotteries, and this type of scam can also be done through email. And some of the other ones that we talked about can too. So an email scam that I would like to point out is an inheritance scam, where the scammer will reach out saying that you have had a wealthy, distant relative from another country die. And you're the next of kin and have inherited the estate. They will promise you a significant amount of money in exchange for a small portion up front. And by upfront, I mean before you receive this alleged inheritance. So if you know nothing of a distant relative, that distant relative wouldn't know about you either. The next email scam we see looks like it's coming from a software company. The Microsoft name gets used a lot. in this scam. They will tell you that your account is expired or that there's a virus that you need to have fixed on your computer in order for it to keep working. You may also see the scam through pop-ups on the computer, and it can come through a phone call as well. The scammers may even ask to remote into your computer. Do not let them. They could be planting malware or trying to steal your personal information. So this scam, they'll also ask you to pay fees, and it's just another trick to take your money. Don't use any link that the company sends you in an email. Search the company out yourself or use the website that you always do if it's a business or a company that you regularly use. Use a company with a reputable record and one that you can contact on your own. Call customer service from a number that you have and not a number that's in the questionable email. So the next one that I want to get into is our dating, contractor, and public forum sales and scams. And this topic, there can be so many different scams out there. So the first one I want to talk about is dating or companionship scams. They are something that we see. And most people enjoy the company of others, and scammers really take advantage of you. Often the scammer will build a distant relationship with you. You may never meet them in person, or it could be even a caretaker that you see often. But they'll claim to have an emergency and ask for maybe grocery gift cards, help paying a bill, or cash. And they will feed on your kindness. Do not send money to somebody that you have never met in person. Do not give money to somebody that you don't know their full name. And do not deposit checks or cash checks to give money to another person. Don't be afraid to tell somebody if this does happen to you. Another scam is where a scammer comes to you offering yard work or maybe to fix a dent in your car or some other type of contractor work. They often offer their work at a very low price. The scammer will give you a quote and ask for a portion of the money up front. Once they receive the money, they will either never come back to do the job or maybe do a very poor job. Some may do a small portion of the work, ask for more money, and then this trend can continue where they never complete the job. So hire a reputable contractor, and if the scammer or the person gives you references, don't depend on their references. Most of the time, those are going to be other people that are involved in their scam. Don't be afraid to tell them no and to send them away. The final scam I want to talk about today is one we see when selling things on public sale forums such as Facebook, Marketplace, or Craigslist. The scammer can make an excuse to need the item shipped right away before payment is made, with the promise of sending the payment later, possibly in a check form. They may offer to pay you more than what the item is being sold for if you take a check. In most instances, the check is not good and you will be responsible for the fees and also out the item that you're selling. Scammers are always looking for new ways to defraud you of your money or personal information. So don't be afraid to hang up or send them away. If it does happen to you, please don't feel embarrassed because this can happen to anybody. Report the incident to your local police department or ask for assistance. I just want to take the time to thank you today for spending time with me. And if you have any questions, please contact us at the Yakima Police Department at 575-6200.